Hi, I'm Zach.
I'm Brandon.
And we're
The Bourbon Bros.
That's right.
All right, guys, we got a special quickie review for you today. We brought the Old Dusty off the shelf. We've got early times.
Early times. How early?
Early times. 1985. This bottle comes from. We did crack it. We already broke the seal on this one, but up until about a month ago, it was sealed since 1985.
1985. That's pretty old.
That means the liquid in there is significantly older than both of us.
Than both of us. And I think you were telling me this was a bottom shelf bottle back then, right?
Yeah. So it'll kind of be like cracking into a time capsule, experiencing bourbon like our fathers would have back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's dive in.
Let's dig it in.
Buckle up.
Strap up.
All right. What are you thinking about the color on this guy?
Maybe honey.
Okay. Yeah, I would
Amber.
say honey caramel, kind of in that range. I think amber. I'm thinking something a little bit maybe a little darker.
I would say probably closer to that.
Whew.
Yeah, it's got a different smell.
It's kind of musty, huh?
It's musty.
It's got a little funk to it. But I feel like, from what I know, and I've only had a couple of old bourbon bottles,
Yeah.
they all kind of have that musty funk to them.
Mm-hmm. Like a damp basement.
Yeah, like an old bookstore.
Like you got shag carpet.
So what are you thinking on the nose here? I'll let you lead with the nose.
Yes.
Hey, Bourbon Dog.
If I want to be real serious, I think that the nose on this is actually not too bad. I'm getting some characteristics from the nose, which is great, instead of having nothing. I'd say there's a little bit of sweetness in there, possibly maybe some butterscotch.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree. I think with this one, because we're so accustomed to like high proofers, you almost like snip soft.
Mm.
You really kind of have to give this you have to give it a deep breath because it's such a low proof. It's only an 80 proof.
Bring it down to the bottom of the lungs.
Yeah.
I would say butterscotch, maybe a slight bit of nuttiness in there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is a lot of butterscotch and just kind of like a musty funk, to be honest with you.
There's a must.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should we go for a taste?
Yeah, let's go in for a little taste.
All right, so before we get into the taste, a little fun fact about this. So we do know the mash bill on this 1985 bottle. It's a 79% rye.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Corn.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not a rye. It's 79% corn, 11% rye, and 10% malted barley.
Yep.
And here's the fun fact about this. At the time, it was technically considered a bourbon. But by today's standards, it would be considered a Kentucky whiskey.
Interesting.
Why do you think that is?
I actually have no idea.
Okay. Take a guess. What do you think?
Since the mash bill seems to match up, it would probably have to be something with I would assume the barrel, something about how the aging process.
So 100%. So this particular recipe was aged in second run cooperage. So as you know, only new charred virgin oak barrels are allowed to be used for bourbon by today's standards.
Right.
It was a little more flexible back in 1985.
They're like, hey, this is what we got. We got to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to talk taste? Ooh, okay. So I'll be honest, Zach,
Yeah.
I think that tastes a lot better than it smells.
Totally agree.
What do you pick it up?
I think it does have a nice little sweetness to it. It's super smooth, but I think that kind of helps that it's a pretty low proof, right? It's like 80 proof.
80 proof, yep.
Super low proof. It felt real smooth, but it allowed me to kind of get some of that sweetness out of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think the thought process back then was the more we can water this down, the more you can actually taste the flavor of the bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up all the butterscotch here.
Okay. Maybe that's the sweetness I'm getting, but I'm also picking up like the youngness of this bottle, I think.
Yep. So this one does provide an age statement. Do you want to guess the age on this one?
Well, I know that they didn't want to age them long because they wanted to get product out.
Yeah,
so
turn and burn for sure.
Maybe 4 years.
Only 3.
3 years.
Yeah. It's not harsh by any means, but maybe that's masked with the low proof.
Right.
I think a lot of butterscotch here, but I also kind of pick up a little mineral note, maybe almost metallic.
Yeah. And I think that kind of comes along with that youngness too. I don't know. It's kind of pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it. I think it's something that I wouldn't necessarily order, but if someone offered it to me to have it sip with them, I wouldn't veer away from it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the mouthfeel and the finish. Why don't you hit mouthfeel? I'll take finish.
All right.
What are you thinking on that mouthfeel?
There's obviously, I think, a little bit to be desired there, but I think it's not the worst that I've ever had when it comes to mouthfeel, but it's definitely not the best. I would say it's somewhere in the middle, probably like a medium chew, medium viscosity there.
Yeah, finish. I would say also medium. I wouldn't say that it dissipates super quick. I'd say that it gives you a little hug, and I do pick up that kind of penny note on the back end of the finish. What are your final thoughts here? You got anything you want to kind of say about the bottle before we wrap it up?
Well, first of all, I think the bottle looks pretty cool.
Very, very vintage.
I'd be becoming a little more fond. I like corks, and I like different looking corks, but I think I'm getting a little fond of these screw tops.
Sure.
Maybe it's the Ben Holidays building on me a little bit. But the bottle looks neat. I think it performed, and if it performs as a bottom shelf, which is what it was back then, I think it did a great job.
Yeah, I think if we were around back then, we would be pleased with this.
Yeah.
As a just kind of an everyday kind of pick it up on the way home from work bottle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like your go-to, just like a Jim Beam or a Jack Daniels.
Totally. Yep. It's an everyman sipper, I would say. I really enjoyed it. Diving into the time capsule here. And again, we got the early times.
I'm glad we dusted it off.
Yeah. Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Give me a second here.
Hey, we open up the time capsule. Interesting.
That's really good. Actually,
Is it?
dumped up.
I bet.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Only the good stuff in there.